If it's been a long time since you tuned in to Carolina People, you'll be glad you did this morning. Stay tuned to a special guest coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Conway Medical's Wellness and Fitness Center. We're focused on the pandemic flu, and we're visiting with one of the members of the Speakers Bureau on pandemic flu for the Coastal South Carolina chapter of the American Red Cross, Fran Long. Good morning, Fran.
Good morning, Greg. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in. What about this Wellness and Fitness Center?
Isn't it great? It's great to see people getting fit.
It is amazing. Early on a Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to see this kind of crowd in here is tremendous.
It's great.
Right here on the basketball court. Can you imagine when you woke up this morning, you'd be sitting on a basketball court in a green chair?
I did not think about that. Certainly did not. But it's great to be here.
It really is. We were with Joe Fisher on Monday from the March of Dimes, highlighting this Saturday's Walk America, a big event. A lot of folks from all over the area will be coming into Coastal Carolina University for this Saturday's Walk America. And we sure hope a lot of viewers who are tuning in today will get out there, pray for good weather. And, of course, Rigby Wilson, the general manager of this station, was with us yesterday, which was particularly exciting, a guy that I've been wanting to get on for a long time and did a great job, of course, talking about some of the exciting things in the area. Also, the Walk America this Saturday, he's on the local board. And, of course, to get you in, we've been trying to get you in for a while. There's a lot going on with a lot of notification to the public about the pandemic flu right now.
Yes, there sure is. This bird flu, too, is a little bit scary, and we'll talk more about that. But the pandemic flu is something everybody really needs to know a little bit about.
Yeah. Real quick about yourself, Fran. Are you originally from the area?
No, grew up in Texas and Kansas. Was born in Texas. But I've been in Horry County for 30 years, so I really consider myself almost a native.
Much more of a local, much more of a native than virtually anyone around. Yeah.
That's right. My father was a railroad worker, so we moved around a lot, and I prize that because I feel like I've learned a lot about different people, but I do love being in Horry County.
Oh, yes. Was there any place throughout the country that you'd spent most of your time prior to arriving to Horry County? I mean, growing up?
Growing up, most of the time was in Texas, up in the Panhandle, where it was pretty flat and windy and no trees. So, you know, I really appreciate the terrain here and the beauty of the area.
Yes. Did you had you always thought about being involved in healthcare in one way or another, and nursing?
Yes, I sure did. I had a cousin that was a nurse, and she was older than I was, and I just looked at that white cap and white uniform, and I said, that's what I want to be.
Is that right?
And I held to that all my life, and I love being a nurse. Encourage others to think about the healthcare profession.
Yes, absolutely, particularly in this area with a dearth of nurses and a real need for qualified nursing. It is really an area. I know Horry Georgetown Technical College is working hard, expanding the Robert E. Spears Center there on the former air base right next door to the Coastal South Carolina chapter of the American Red Cross.
Yes, I can't wait to look out my office window and see that hospital really look more like a hospital, training more nurses and other healthcare professionals.
Oh, yeah. So you were located on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, Fran.
The Red Cross chapter has been there several years.
Right
right there by that old hospital.
It's a great location. Cathedral Academy right across the way there. For folks who may not be familiar with it, real easy to get to and to come by the office. And I know y'all are so much driven by, like yourself, volunteers that really help things happen. If folks wanted to come by, it's so easy coming in off of where Ocean Boulevard ends, right there on 17 Business, and coming on in Faro Parkway and take that first left, and then follow it right over there to y'all's location. Is it on Pampas Drive?
I believe it is.
Yes, very easy to find. You just know how to get there.
I know how to get there. I'm not sure the name of that street, but yes, it is, because our address is Pampas Drive.
That's exactly right. If a viewer wanted to learn more and needs to get off to school now or get off to work, is there a good number for someone to call to learn more about the Coastal South Carolina chapter of the American Red Cross?
There sure is, and just 477-0020.
Okay.
And that opens you up to everything the Red Cross has to offer.
Sure.
And, you know, we offer CPR classes, babysitting classes. We help people who have had fires. That's a major issue.
Yeah,
help people
absolutely.
get back on their feet. And then things like the Pandemic Flu Project and other things. But yes, they can call that number, 477-0020.
Does the Coastal South Carolina chapter of the American Red Cross also have a website, Fran?
Sure they do, with links to a lot of other organizations. But
Right.
just www.coastalscarc.org.
.org, okay, not .com, but .org. Coastal
That's
SC, as in Coastal South Carolina, ARC, American Red Cross.
Exactly.
.org, very easy to get to. And I'm sure if they ended up at the Red Cross, the national site, or if they've ever been there, there's always links back to the Coastal South Carolina chapter. The other great thing I think you told me earlier before we began filming this morning was that there's a lot of information or links there to the pandemic flu.
Sure, there is. The National Red Cross has done a lot, too, on pandemic flu, developed training sessions and a lot of wonderful handouts that we utilize in our Speakers Bureau. But right there at coastalscarc.org, they can link right up to those national websites, pandemicflu.gov, and some of the others, and just get a lot of good information.
Yes, very definitely. Fran, I just noticed the color blue you're wearing is a little closer to Duke than UNC, but I think you've got a degree from a graduate degree or otherwise an extended degree there from UNC Chapel Hill.
Right, right. My public health graduate degree was from the Tar Heel School,
Yes.
University of North Carolina.
I think one of the oldest state universities, if not the oldest state university in the country.
Absolutely.
And
we just look at the sky, and say the sky is Carolina blue.
I know.
Duke is this darker shade.
It is.
Of blue.
That may not even be quite as. So you're lucky not to be wearing Duke blue, but.
That's right. I like the Duke school too. Both schools have an excellent nursing program.
Oh yeah.
Very
yeah.
excellent, as well as many other programs.
And the medical schools at both institutions,
just
either top 10 or top 20 in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, literally very well thought of.
Yes.
Did you ever think about when you got in and you knew you said that I guess it was your cousin who had the white outfit and the white hat. When you got into it, did you ever think about going further? I mean, wanted to be a doctor, wanted to do other things. I know. Really, as a nurse, you virtually do everything anyway.
Well, this day and age, women are encouraged to be anything, and I was too, but I never really thought about being a physician. I really wanted to be a nurse. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure, other than my cousin, what influenced me in that direction.
Right.
But still, I never regret not going on and doing something else. I think nursing was actually my calling. It's where I was supposed to be. And I've been so fulfilled with nursing, and I just encourage others, and especially, men and boys, because we don't have as many men and boys in the nursing profession as some others. And it's just a great opportunity for anyone interested in health or fitness or helping others, learning more about the human body and the way we all function, because we all are growing older, and sometimes we fall apart, and we all need to know how to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely, that's a very good point. Joe Fisher, who was with us on Monday from the March of Dimes, son is a nurse, is actually an Army nurse, and is overseas right now. And it's fascinating at another time hearing her talk about his training, and of course the real desire for the technical colleges in Coastal Carolina and the other schools, Francis Marion, in our area, to look for those opportunities to get to men and, as you say, boys and men interested in nursing as a career, because that giving side is clearly one that not only women have, they don't have a lock on that.
That's exactly right.
Guys have some good empathy and sympathy in them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we encourage people from all walks of life, shapes, kinds, races, backgrounds, because people get sick, everybody gets sick.
Yes,
so we just need a diverse population of nurses, and there's really a shortage, as everybody knows right now, of nurses, so it's a great profession.
Speaking of getting sick, fortunately it looks like, in reading some of the info that you provided to help prepare for this morning's interview, the pandemic flu is something we're really worried about, but has not hit us just yet. But there's an expectation that it's going to have an impact. Prayerfully hopeful no time soon, but at the same time there's some serious issues. What exactly is the pandemic flu?
Well, that's a great question, because most of the time when I tell people I'm a speaker on the pandemic flu, they get this great question mark across their face like, so what? And then they change the subject.
Right. Oh,
but,
yeah. So I'm going to give you a chance to not change the subject
That
here.
is right. The pandemic flu is a real threat. It is a strain of the flu that we might not be immune to because it would be a new strain. And pandemics occur on the average about every 24 to 48 years, the pandemic influenza. And our last pandemic was in 1968. Most people don't even realize that.
68 to 69,
And that's been more than 24 years, and so we're very concerned that another flu strain, a new or novel flu strain, could break loose and cause an epidemic in one country and then a pandemic across the whole world. So that's the definition would be a flu strain that affects everybody across the whole world, the whole globe. And we would not be immune because it would be a new strain or novel strain.
Well, I saw that it looked like there were 3 different times during the 1900s that a pandemic hit. I saw that last time was literally almost 40 years ago. And so it sounds almost like it's time, which is scary to think about.
It is scary, and the thing that scares us the most is this flu called the bird flu or the avian flu. And you mentioned the 3 epidemics or pandemics, and the 1918 has been called the Great Influenza Pandemic. It happened to be a strain of the bird flu.
Is that right?
Yes, that's what makes us a little nervous, because the current strain of bird flu has been in the world since 1997, causing death to people. So the longer it remains alive and continues to infect people, then the more we get a little bit concerned that it could change and be able to be passed from human to human and then infect a lot of people.
Right, as opposed to currently from bird to human. I saw, was it around, how many folks have been impacted? It was a couple hundred, or?
The case report is really not that large. It's over 250 at this point.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
But out of that group, more than 50% have died. So that is the real concern, is that it's a very deadly strain of the flu.
Now, Fran, do you think they died because they didn't get medical treatment soon enough? Do you think they died because they were in countries other than North America where they just couldn't get adequate attention, or did they maybe even have better attention and still die?
That's one of the unfortunate things. There's really not much medically that can be done because we don't have a vaccine for this bird flu. We don't know exactly what form it would take if it changes and can be replicated and infect me, and then I can infect you. So it's just treatment with whatever people have available at the time. So I wouldn't say anybody didn't get enough treatment or wasn't hospitalized quickly enough. It moves very quickly. Some people have been infected, and then 2 to 3 days later, they've already died. It's just a very, very quick-moving virus. So,
who is doing research to help try to find a cure, to help come up with a vaccine there? Is that something the American Red Cross is helping?
Well, mainly the World Health Organization works with other health organizations around the world. And yes, there is a vaccine being developed right now to match that current strain. So the hope is that if that bug changes enough to be passed from me to you and to other people, then the vaccine that's available now maybe could be just changed slightly and would be useful. It's kind of a long process to make a vaccine. And
I was about to ask what is involved therein.
Well, what they really do, the World Health Organization tests people who are sick. So if I had the flu, they might take some blood from me, test it. In that way, they can make up a recipe to match the flu strain.